going to be on fixtures and distressed properties. And the reason for this topic is that over the last several months, I've had very many questions from several buyers in regards to a property I sold at 1730 East Orange Grove Boulevard here in Pasadena, where there was multiple offers. The winning bid was all cash. And the question was posed, how does someone buy a house like that and compete in this market when you don't have all cash and you have limited budget? And at the same time, you know, institutions like Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, banks are not going to lend you money on a house like the property at 1730 East Orange Grove Boulevard because of the distressed nature, the health and safety issues of the property. Windows are boarded up, holes in the roof, tree fell on it, water damage, etc., etc., etc. It was almost the ideal fixture home for many people, and it's in a great neighborhood of Pasadena on Orange Grove Boulevard. So the surrounding homes are just are beautiful as well. So in regards to the question, the answer is yes, you can compete with multiple offers. You can compete with all cash, even though you're probably going to obtain some type of financing. That some type of financing is going to be in the form of a private money lender or a hard money lender or a family member. And the important takeaway in this conversation today is going to be is you need to have your team in place to be able to compete. And you need to have your lender per se, you need to have your contractor as well. You need to have these in yourself focused on the project. Put a plan together, how you're going to obtain this property. I think the biggest advantage goes to individuals who are buying these properties and they plan to live in the property, customize it the way they would like it, because they can't find anything in the area within their budget. So how do you go about that? Well, you have your private money lender or your hard money lender, and you want to make sure that he's going to be able to deliver the funds in the time period that you're stating in the offer agreement. You can pretty much make an offer with a lender behind you very similar to an all-cash offer. It's just where's the money coming from is somewhere different. The seller doesn't care at this point where the money comes from as long as he gets the money. The seller's position is I want the highest amount of money for my fixer, I want it closed in the soonest amount of time, and I want to make sure that any offer that comes in, that buyer is doing all their due diligence prior to making that offer. If it's inspections, if the contractor, the remodel, get all that, see what the repairs what the requirements of the repairs are, and so forth. So when you as a buyer go out and make that offer, you already know and you have all your ducks in a row, your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed. So when you do make that offer and compete against an all cash, many times you're going to make an offer to compete a very short escrow, probably no time contingency periods because you already know what type of distress the property is in. So you don't need to know anymore, so you don't have to do any more physical inspections, because many times sellers will allow you an allotted time prior to making an offer to do those inspections. So when you get into escrow, there's no delays. So when you make that offer, you've got to make sure that your team members are in place. You know, your private money lender, your hard money lender is aware that in 10 days you're going to close and he's going to have to give you the money, and you're going to have to come up with your portion as well. Unlike prior times, you know, hard money lenders and private money lenders are lending. They're, as long as the project is going to make a profit or there's future value in that property and they can determine that, and you're putting your percentages down, they're going to request no less than 30% down in many cases to be able to purchase that property. So let's take an example. You buy a house for $800,000. You're the winning bid at $800,000. You've got to close escrow in 10 days because that's what you said in your offer. There's no contingencies because you've got that all up front. You know what the makeup of the property is already. So at $800,000, the lender's going to require, that private money lender is going to require that you put 30% down at the very least. And that's $240,000. And that lender is going to give you $560,000 to make up the difference. That lender will charge you anywhere between 2 points and 5 points of the origination to originate that loan. So that's going to be a cost up front as well to you. As well, they're going to charge you a percentage rate of 8 to 12% a year until you complete that project. Usually they give you 2 or 3 years in these loans so you can complete that project and sell that property and make your profit, or complete that project, go and refinance your home now so you can pay them back as long as you qualify. The second component to this is the contractor. What is the bid that they gave you to rehab the house and fix the house? Unlike prior years, private lenders today and hard money lenders will finance the rehab portion of this house. Again, they're going to require you putting 30% down one more time. So let's just say the contractor says, Mr. Buyer, Mrs. Buyer, it's going to cost us $200,000 to rehab the house the way you want it. So that number stated, you're going to need to come up with $60,000 above the $240,000 in the closing costs that you already did. So now you're in it for about $300,000. The lender is going to give you $140,000 to do the rehab, and he's in it for $700,000. So now you got into this property for, let's say, $1 million. It's a customized home that fits your needs, or it's a property that you're ready to sell, and the public is going to have great desire because it's a turnkey home that most people see in their home and garden TV show. So during that time, once you've developed and fixed up the house and obtained the house, it's up to you. If you're an end buyer who's going to stay in the house, you're going to want to refinance it as long as you qualify and pay off those private money lenders. That way you can stay in the home at a very favorable interest rate now, whatever that prevailing rate is as today. Or you're going to put it on the market and sell it for that future value that you determined it was going to be, so you can make a profit and move on to your next project. So the takeaway here is, for you to compete against a multiple offer scenario, all cash buyers in a distress or fixer-upper, one, have your team in place, your lender and your contractor, so you can make the best possible terms for you to get that property in the shortest amount of time at the highest price that you feel comfortable with. And God willing, you're the winning bid on that. So look forward. I hope this was informational for you as well. Any questions regarding this process, or if you have a home that you're looking to sell that's in distress, as they say, if you have an ugly house, not a problem. You can still get multiple offers and way above listing price, similar to what we did here at 1730 East Orange Grove. We started at $695, we ended up at $760, and we had somewhere between 15 and 20 offers on the property. Again, there's a lot of buyers out in the market right now that have a lot of cash, and there's a lot of buyers out there in the market that have their teams in place if you're a seller. So don't fear that just because your house needs work that you're not going to be able to sell it for top dollar. You can still sell a house like that for top dollar. Again, any questions, feel free, call our office. We look forward to speaking to you. Thank you for listening to Edward Real Estate TV.